Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. So, this morning, overcoming battles and facing your giants. So when I say that, what does that mean? What sticks out in your mind when I say you overcome the battle, you face your giant?
Things that you're afraid of.
That's right. The battle we face today are numerous. It could be unemployment. It could be abandonment. It could be depression, bills, grades for the younger ones, a career, a mistake, or a future. The future is scary. You never know what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes, the next hour, the next day. So each day we go through life battling an inner struggle and an outer struggle. And that can take you away from God, because you're focusing more on that struggle than more focusing on God. So with each struggle or battle, you need to focus on what really matters. That's God. Without Him, you can't overcome that battle or struggle that you're dealing with, because you're going at it alone. With Him, you're not alone. Wolves go in packs for a reason. They don't attack prey just by themselves.
Right.
They attack in pack. Numerous. That's one eye. So, who knows the story of David and Goliath? We all should know the story of David and Goliath. Even if you haven't been to church, you should know the story of David and Goliath. It is mentioned throughout any kind of other things that you may see. Movies mention it in different ways, but it's still that same focus of David versus Goliath. So, the armies of Israel under King Saul were taking the battlefield against the armies of the Philistines. That was a formidable foe at that time. A champion named Goliath, which is that big man standing right there. He came out of the Philistine camp. His height was 6 cubits and a span. For those who don't know that, it's 9 feet 9 inches. It's a huge man. Very huge. He had a bronze helmet on his head, and he wore a coat of scale armor weighing 5,000 shekels. That's very heavy as well. And he had bronze armor on his legs as well, and a javelin. His spear shaft was like a weaver's rod, and its iron point weighed 600 shekels. So if his armor weighed 5,000, and the tip of his spear or javelin weighed 600, that's pretty heavy. And his shield bearer would walk in front of him. Now that tells you that is some formidable foe that you probably don't want to meet in the dark alley. Because one, he probably made it dark because no sunlight can get through to him. Because of how big he was. So now you have David, which is that small little figure right there. He was the son of the Ephraimite of Bethlehem, Judah, whose name was Jesse, and who had 8 sons. So David was the one of 8 sons. He was the youngest. Now Jesse was very old, advanced in years, in the days of Saul. The 3 oldest sons had gone to follow Saul to the battle. David, being the youngest, he occasionally went to bring supplies to the armies and then came back because he was the sheep herder. He would go tend to his father's sheep at Bethlehem. So one day, during this battle, Jesse said to his son David, "Take now for your brothers some dry grain and these 10 loaves, and also carry these 10 cheeses to the captain of their 1,000, and see how your brothers fare and bring back news of them." So David, being the smallest, was given the minuscule task of watching the sheep while his other brothers would go fight. So his father would say, "Take this, come back. Take this, come back." Not stay and fight, but just take these supplies and give them to your brothers and come back. So he went, and Saul and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah. They were fighting with the Philistines. So David left the supplies in the hands of the supply keeper, ran to the army, and came and greeted his brothers. Then as he talked with his brothers, there was the champion, the Philistine Goliath, coming up from the armies of the Philistines. Nobody wanted to fight the likes of Goliath. I mean, look at the size of that man. Would you want to fight the size of that man? I wouldn't want to fight the size of a man that's 6'4". I'm 5'11". 6'4" is huge to me. It's like me going against James. I don't want to fight James, because I love that man. So, everybody was afraid of this giant man. Goliath boasted and cursed Israel's God and mocked him. So he mocked God. He cursed God. That's probably one thing you don't want to be doing. So David heard all this, and so did all the armies of the Israelites. And he approached Goliath. So David, upon approaching Goliath, chose for himself 5 smooth stones that were broken. That was close. He picked and chose just the right stones that were the right smooth and the right weight, because he knew that he needed the right tools. So he put them in his shepherd's bag, and he had a sling in his hand. Now when Goliath saw David, he mocked him, and cursed him, and cursed his God again. What's this little foe going to do to me? If I had Cole here, I would have him come on stage, because Cole is a little short. And it'd be like, David, Goliath. But it'd give you that picture of size, appearance. So, David was young, he was slender, he was scrawny. Goliath sees this, continues to mock him. So David said to Goliath, "You come at me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come at you in the name of the Lord, for which you have defiled. I come at you with the Lord, you come at me with man-made weapons." The Spirit of God was with David. He was chosen as a vessel of God, and God had his eye on him. He oversaw him. He protected him. David was destined to become a great man, no matter what. It was the plan of God that he would become this great man. God has a plan for each one of us. His plan was to make David a great man. He was destined to go in that direction. Why is that? Because in the plan and the purpose of God, David was made to be a man after God's own heart. Each one of us is made after God's own heart. We just have to see that. So David sees the armies of God, and because he does, he hurries and runs towards the army and to meet Goliath. David wasn't going to be afraid just because he had never faced any battles. He was the sheep herder of the family. He probably never saw battles except to go deliver supplies and come back. He never actually got to partake in that. So after all, he had battled a lion, and he had battled a bear because he was a sheep herder. He had to protect his flock. So he went out to battle this giant and thought, no different than battling that lion or bear. It's a bigger foe than I was, and I still overcame. So he just sizes it up, thinks in his mind, no difference. It isn't how big Goliath is, it's how great the Lord is and how great the name of the Lord is.
Amen.
The Lord was going to bring this giant to David so he could kill him and stop him from defying his name. This was the confidence in the Lord that David had. It takes God to have courage, and that's what he gave to David. He ran full force, not thinking, not skipping a beat. He thought, it's no different than me going against that lion and bear. And David put his hand in his bag while approaching Goliath, took out a stone, and slang it. This wasn't his first rodeo. He probably knew how to use that sling and how to use those rocks. That's why he picked the perfect stones with the right smoothness and the right weight. And when he slang it, he hit Goliath directly in the forehead. with all that armor on him, you think that God did not direct that stone to where it needed to go?
Yep.
Because if you try to throw a stone at a shoulder, chest, leg, you think it would have done any damage?
Now,
Stone probably gave big against a man that's higher than a reach. So that stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell face first upon the earth. It probably happened within seconds. Anybody stub their toe at night? How quickly does that pain go right to your brain? Very quick. So the giant was covered in armor from head to toe, but all David took to come against him was a little stone in the right direction. The stone smashed into Goliath's forehead with a crackling thud, and almost instantly the giant lost consciousness and fell. So David went out there with just a sling and a stone. No sword, no armor, nothing. But he did go out there with the name of the Lord.
Amen.
On the side. So David never missed a step. Full force. Even after the giant fell, David kept running towards him. And when he reached the huge heap of a man laying on the earth, he drew Goliath's sword. Not his sword, not someone else's sword, Goliath's sword. How big a sword do you think that is? For that big of a man, and that little man to pick it up. He had the name of the Lord with him. Amen. That gave him the strength and the hope to raise it up and come down over the giant's neck. Now when the Philistine army see this, they fled, as anybody would.
yeah.
You see this big towering man that you put all your faith in, and he's taken out by this little boy with a stone. Not a sword, not a spear, not a javelin, a stone. So why would David take on something like this? And who provided him with that necessary courage? It was God. God anointed David. He made him a vessel. It was not about David's battle. It was God's battle. Goliath defied God. He mocked God. He put David there. You are in my army. You are my vessel. You will overcome this battle, and you will face your giant because I have given you the tools. So do you think the Lord wasn't with him when he slung that stone?
Yes.
He was definitely with him. Had the right direction. He had him pick this exact stone that he needed. He gave him the strength to fling it as hard as he could. And then he gave him the strength to finish the job. He could have missed. He could have hit him in the arm, could have hit him in the leg, like I said. But no. He hit him where it needed to be hit. And it came out with such great force that it sunk into his forehead. Now, if you ever got hit with a rock, have you got hit with enough force to where it sunk into where it went? Probably not. Unless you really get something thrown real hard. Hopefully you don't have that happen. So after their champion was dead, the Philistines showed their real fear. They put all their faith in one man. He was now gone. They fled because they left everything behind because they put their faith in that one thing, and that one thing is now gone, and it cannot protect them. So if this young lad can bring down our champion, they thought, what can he do to us? He took down a 9-foot-tall man. There's probably men out there of your height, your size, thinking, you took out a 9-foot man. I'm 5'8", I'm 5'12", I'm 6 foot, I'm 6'2". He's going to do damage to me that's going to be horrible. I'm not sticking around for that. So, think. You're Goliath in your life. He doesn't carry a sword, doesn't carry a shield. He brandishes the blades of unemployment, fear, doubt, abandonment, anxiety, and depression. That's your Goliath. It may not be physical, it can be mental. Your battle doesn't parade up and down the hills of Alea. It prances through your office, through your bedroom, through your house, in your car, in your classrooms. It doesn't care. It'll attack you anywhere it can. Your battle brings bills you can't pay, grades you can't make, people you can't please, alcohol you can't resist, pornography you can't refuse, career you can't escape, a past you can't shake, and a future you can't face. Modern day battles come in any form, any size and shape. Doesn't matter. So in 1 Peter, therefore prepare your minds for action, keep somber in spirit, fix your hope completely on the grace and be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. The battles we face today may look very different than the days of old. Not everybody's going to have that 9-foot Goliath standing in front of them. But they're no less formidable and no less frightening for God's people. But remember, the same God who guided David's stone that day is the same God who stands ready to slay the giants and overcome the battles of your life. He's not going to let you face it alone. He will be there to help you overcome that battle and face your giant. He is the same God who wants you to have the peace, knowing that He will take care of you. He's not going to let you live your life in depression and in fear and anxiety. He's going to give you that strength and that hope and that faith that you will overcome that battle. David was not the only one who knew how the Lord had led Israel in the past, but David was the only one who still believed God was in control. In Acts 13:22, it reminds us that God said that David was a man after God's own heart. A man after God's own heart. Since God saw him as such, He should give us all hope, because we are after God's own heart. He created you for a purpose, for a reason, and put you here for that purpose and reason. He has a plan for you. He filled you with what you need. Giants lurk in our neighborhoods. Battles wage all around us. Rejection, failure, revenge, remorse. You must face them. But you don't have to face them alone. What can you do in the name of the Lord? Each of us probably doesn't know half of what we can do in the name of the Lord. When I first started coming here, I was not comfortable standing up in front of everyone. What am I doing right now? Talking to you guys.
Right.
I became comfortable with it. Over time, you become comfortable with it. But also need to recognize that you can't do it alone. I'm not up here doing this alone. You may not see it, but I can have somebody standing here beside me.
Right.
Doesn't mean I'm providing what I need to provide and say what I need to say without His help. I have it written down here, but it doesn't mean I can't say what I need to say. And that's what He's done for each one of you. He's provided what He needs you to do. He's given you that purpose. He has the plan. You just have to execute it. Everything you do, do it in the name of the Lord. Don't do it by yourself. And in the end, if we've done a good thing in His name, He will reward us for it. Sometimes problems seem evasive to any solution or answer. What will I do? I don't know what to do. How am I going to do this? How am I going to overcome this? How am I going to overcome that? You wring your hands in despair. and anxiety and fear. How am I going to do this? You start worrying. You start getting depressed. You don't know how to overcome something. You close everything off. I don't know what to do. Have you said that before? Something happens. I don't know what to do. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I'm all going to go sit in a corner somewhere in a fetal position. I don't know what to do. And that every Christian has thought that way. Every person has thought that way. But every Christian can be like David. This was a man whom God made to be a certain way. And you were made to be a certain way. David was not relying on himself. He wasn't relying on a slingshot. He wasn't relying on the 5 stones that he got for that slingshot. He was relying on the name of the Lord and what the Lord will do for him if he does it in his name. David refined himself to trust God alone to lead him out and deliver him and deliver the Israelites from the giant. He's not trusting in anything else. He gave his full trust and faith in God. And God is the one that led him to run straight toward that battle, straight toward that giant to overcome. The giant, however, was trusting in everything he had. He's 9 foot tall. You think he trusted any of those other Philistines in his army to do what he could do? Probably not. He had his helmet. He had his spear. He had his javelin. He had his shield being carried in front of him. It was too minuscule of a task for him to carry his own shield. He was dependent on all of that, how big he was, his sword, his weapons, what he could do. But David was dependent on the Lord. Didn't matter what he had, as long as he had the name of the Lord with him. So, we can look at the story as an example of what can happen when you have the Lord on your side. The Lord is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Never going to change. And He can be with you today, tomorrow, in the future. Doesn't matter. It won't change. That's the one thing that's guaranteed. He won't change. He will stay the same. You could change, but He won't. He can be with you in the trials of your faith today. He can be with you in the battle you face today. He can be with you in anything you confront today. You can walk out of here after this sermon. Whatever you face, He's there with you. It won't change. If you do it in the name of the Lord, He will be there. It's not going to change. Everybody fears change. You don't have to fear this because it won't change. That's what I want you guys to know today. With Him, it won't change. Nothing changes. He will be the same today, tomorrow, 20 years from now, on your deathbed. He will never change. If you do it for His name, He won't change. We always want to believe and expect that no matter what, God is our rock. He is with us. He is our foundation that we stand on. He's our defense. He's our refuge. He's our strength. He's everything we need. He's our shield. He's our protector. He is our all in all. Everything we need, He's there. It will never change. I'm going to say that a lot more. It will never change.
That's right.
That's what I want you guys to get today. He will never change. And this is what we need to depend on. We need to depend on what He puts in us and the heart that He put in us, and know that we can use Him and it will never change. You guys are going to get sick of me saying that. If you believe in God and put your trust in Him, and you know Him personally, then you know that God is with you. Many battles are not against the flesh and blood, but are against the devil. He will put whatever obstacle in front of you to get you farther away from God. Doesn't matter. And it could be the bills you have to pay, the grades that you can't get. Whatever obstacle or battle or giant you put in front of you, He will do it. And you may not be able to see your adversary every day, but we need to bear in mind that the battle is not ours. It's the Lord's battle. He made you a vessel for Him. It's His battle. He will not leave you because He doesn't change. Many battles, and as soon as you can shift over your minds and hearts that the battle is not yours, but the Lord's, you'll find that the Lord is going to fight that battle. He will not leave you alone. He will not leave you to the wayside when things become hard. He will be with you. There's got to be a faith, though, in the Lord and that He's going to fight the battle. Believe that He will fight that battle and help you overcome that battle and face that giant. If you do it in the name of the Lord, He will help you overcome that battle. So we got to trust Him and know that He will fight that battle. We got to lean on the Lord, knowing that He will fight that battle. We got to put His name in it, knowing that He will fight that battle, and that He will come against the enemy, and that we will come against the enemy in the name of Him, trusting that He will fight that battle. Because He will be with you, and He will never change. Doesn't matter what your battle may be. Whatever the battle is, let God fight it. You're there to help. It's His battle, but you're there to not feel alone in that battle. Turn everything else aside and put your faith in the name of the Lord, knowing that He is going to fight that battle. So, in our walk with God, we need to learn three things. First, exercise your faith. We need to exercise our faith in the name of the Lord, in the name of Jesus Christ. In the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. Put your faith in God. When we exercise our faith in the name of God, it becomes the whole success story in the power of God. He put us here for a reason. He wanted us to have faith in Him. We need to exercise that faith. In order to face the giant or overcome your battle, you must follow the example of a boy named David, who stood up and defeated a Goliath, the giant in his life. So he took a few steps to do that. He overcame that battle that had been harassing the entire army for some time. So we too should see these steps to overcome our battle and to stand up to our giant. We need to listen to the instructions and advice of those who care for us. If somebody cares for you, they're not telling you something wrong. If they full-heartedly care for you, they don't want to see you get hurt. They don't want to see you in pain. They don't want to see you depressed. They care for you that much to help you. We should pay attention to those that care of us and saying and using that information as the best possible decision to make. If someone gives you advice and is trying to lead you in an unhurtful way, heed that advice. Doesn't mean go through with the plan, but heed the advice. So they do truly care for you. They will not steer you wrong. You can't go overcoming your battles until your affairs and your other affairs are in order. The little things in our lives must be taken care of before you can face the bigger and harder problems. Start small. Don't try to go full force into a big problem and big battle. Try to take out the little battles first, because those little battles may lead to that big battle, and overcoming that small battle may make it way easier to overcome that big one. Knowledge is power. The more we know about the situation you're facing, the more you're able to handle. Know the situation. When facing a giant or overcoming a battle, go with what you know. David went with what he knew. Smooth stones, sling. Because that's probably what he used to overcome that lion and that bear. Go with what you know. Don't go out there thinking, I'm going to go fishing and I'm going to use dynamite. Use a fishing rod. Now that's old school fishing, so that's all right. But go out with a fishing rod and the right bait. Don't go out with a fishing rod and a stick. I don't think a fish is going to want to bite into a T-bone. You might be able to want to bite. I don't think a fish will. Don't face your giant with one idea in mind of how to defeat it. You have a brain. Use it. We use 10% of our brain. You should be able to kind of tap into at least a 0.1% just to think of a different idea of how to face something. Your first instinct may work, but don't go into battle without additional power. Be prepared for the unexpected. Don't go in thinking nothing else is going to happen. It's going to happen. You may think it's not, but it's going to happen. Make up your mind before so that you will not back down. If you talk to yourself in the mirror, saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, the more you keep saying it and the more you see yourself say it, the more you feel that you want to do it. Talk to yourself. It may seem weird around other people, but I do all the time. And I'm saying to the next person. Run full speed to overcome your battle. If you're going to beat your giant, once you have your plan, once you have your mindset, run out and meet it head on. That's what David did. Full force. Sling, stone, forehead over, sword, neck. Probably less than a minute. Because he kept going forward because he knew the direction to go. The giants and battles we faced are much more different than the one David faced. Again, you're not going to have your 9-foot giant standing in front of you or your battle he's overcome standing in front of you at all times. No matter what size they are, have the faith and experience to handle it just as easily as David did. God never allows us to face a problem we can't face without his help. So Deuteronomy 21. When you go out to battle against your enemies and see horses and chariots and people more numerous than you, do not be afraid of them. For the Lord your God, who brought you up from the land of Egypt, is with you. He will never change. He is always with you. Second, know your giant. Many of us have Goliaths here today. Today your giants may not have swords, may not have javelins, may not look like this formidable foe right here. But facing your giants again may include having debt, facing sickness, divorce, abuse, the grades you can't reach, the bills you can't pay, an addiction you can't overcome. It could be a challenging work colleague, work overload, it could be a broken relationship. Those are the battles you will face. Those are the giants that you will face. You are daily facing your battles and your giants. Some pop up here and there. They're not going to pop up when you're ready for them. They're going to pop up when they're ready. Some battles you've been facing for years. Some battles you'll be facing for days. Some battles you'll be facing for minutes. Battle's a battle. You may make you feel overwhelmed and challenged, but these battles are unconquerable. I can't do this. I'm going to quit. I can't overcome this. I can't do this alone. Your natural reaction when facing those battles with giants is to retreat, to run, to hide, to ignore it. Hopefully it'll go away. Somehow this battle is too great or this giant is so big that you can't overcome it. It's so huge that it's not just going to just disappear, unfortunately. You think Goliath one day will walk out and see the Israel army and be like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go back to the camp and have some food, sit down, watch TV, see footballs on. Nah. He was there because he thought he could do it all. conquer me. I'm not a football. Look at all these little people in the armies. Ain't nothing to me. But you ask yourself, what did David do? He ran towards Goliath, knowing that he could slay him with the power of God on his side. He had God with him that day. He had God with him the rest of his life, because God doesn't change. Think of what your Goliath is. Think of what your battles are. Think of what your giants are. Now, roll up your sleeves and say, enough is enough. In the name of the Lord, I will overcome this. Say, I'm not afraid of this battle of giants. It may seem big and overwhelming, but I'm not afraid. I'm taking it head on, loading my stones, and I'm going to slay it. It is very important to know who your giants are and to name them. So if it's anger, jealousy, work, school, name it. You face that battle, and you pray, name it. Because when you ask God, in the name of the Lord, to overcome this battle of this giant, He will be with you to overcome it. Number 3, communicate with God. Very important also in the terms of slaying your giant or facing your battle is to turn to God in prayer, not turn away from Him. Go to prayer to ask for Him. Don't turn away from Him. Communicate with God by asking Him for guidance, for strategy, for strength, for wisdom, for His presence, and to seek His face. And say, Lord, this battle, this thing is far greater than me. I need you. So it could be many things, but keep saying, I cannot do this on my own. Because I know that the greater is He that is in me, that He that is in the world, and that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. We just sang a song strong enough. What is one of the verses? In Christ. All right. So now I'm going to switch gears for a second. And this is for all those movie buffs out there. Think of Rocky. Especially Rocky IV.
Yeah.
You have Rocky Balboa, who's about 5'9". You have Ivan Drago, who's 6'4". Rocky comes out, first couple rounds, getting decimated. Terribly decimated.
Yeah.
Every round, goes to his corner, has his cornerman, tells him what he needs to do, goes out, gets decimated again. Finally, he starts to come through and overtake that battle. One good punch, he sees an opening, continues to attack it. Round after round. Battle, corner, battle, corner, battle, corner. Goes on for a long period of time. Blood is shed, bruises are made, people are hurt. So, all these years you're probably fighting your battle, trying to overcome your battle, trying to face your giants. It may be metaphorically in a boxing ring. You go out, you get beat, you get bruised, you come back. You go out, you get beat, you get bruised, you come back. Round by round, you're knocking your giant, and your giant's knocking you back. You're facing your battle, it's hitting you backwards. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Give and go. Back and forth. Each time, you're fighting, and then you go to your corner. So your giant has left you bruised and hurt. You're mentally tired and worn out. You're there in your corner. Who's your coach? The Lord. Best coach you can have. He says, you can do it. Get back out there. You've got this. I'm with you. I'm giving you everything you need. You get out there. You can do this. One more round. Just keep going. One more round. You can do this. Don't give up. He's on your side. And also, you have the crowd and the audience. You start to go out. You start to win. Get ahead a little bit in your battle on giant. What do you hear? That's your cheering section. You got your coach and you got your cheering section. Who doesn't like a cheering section? You got any sports event where they yell, "Go team, go defense!" They don't just stand there and have, earplugs in. They hear people. That gives them strength. I played football for 11 years. I heard it all the time. Some things bad. More good things. More good things. Get out there, hit him, tackle him, go, get him. And it's like, that gives you that extra oomph that you need. That's what God does. He gives you that extra oomph you need. He's in your corner. He's rubbing your shoulders. He's patting your face down. He's putting ice on it so it doesn't swell up. He's giving you what you need. Get out there, you can do it, all right. You're the man, you do it. So don't give up. You're not alone. You got your coach. You got your cheering section. You be your family. You be your friends. Whatever battle we're facing. You got your cheering section. You got your coach. How can you keep moving? Keep going. Don't give up. I'm here for you. The same God that helped David slay the giant is the same God that will help you overcome your battle and face your giant. He is with you today, tomorrow, and forever. He will never change. So in conclusion, battles will always be there. They're never going to go away. They will always be there in your life. There's always going to be a giant in your life. They can be right in front of you or trying to sneak in the back door. Doesn't matter. They'll hit you when you're unprepared. God called us to be overcomers through Christ. God sent His Son to die for us and overcome the battle for our souls to live eternally in heaven with Him. Jesus made the ultimate sacrifice. He overcame our battle and faced our judgment. He died for our sin. That was our judgment. We sinned. Jesus was sin. He overcame our battle and faced our judgment. Because He was with us. I just encourage you not to be overwhelmed. Do not go into any battle and face your giant. Even if you've been facing your giant for years, or even just this week or day, without God's help, you cannot overcome that battle or face that giant. Don't do it alone. Everybody uses duct tape to fix everything. God used 3 nails. So now, I want you guys to stay with me, and it'll be up on the screen. I can do all things through Christ. My strength, faith, and hope is in the Lord. I am an overcomer through Christ Jesus. One more time. I can do all things through Christ. My strength, faith, and hope are in the Lord. I am an overcomer through Jesus Christ. Amen. Last time. I can do all things through Christ. My strength, faith, and hope are in the Lord. I am an overcomer through Jesus Christ. Face that battle. Face that giant. Just don't do it alone. Because without God's help, you cannot overcome. With His help, you can overcome. He is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and forever. He will never